Welcome to Community Balance, and I'm Suzanne Barnett, your host, and we've had so many requests to have this lovely young lady, Jennifer Schmid, on the show again, and here we are. Jennifer Schmid is a traditional naturopath, and I never knew what a naturopath was, but you will soon learn what she does. And on today's show, we're going to talk mostly about healthy diets and how important it is. And Jennifer is the one that can tell us everything. Jennifer, welcome.
Well, thank you, Suzanne.
So good to have you back.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
So first tell the audience, what is a traditional naturopath?
A traditional naturopath is someone who works to educate and empower our clients and give them information so that they can make choices about their health instead of being given a diagnosis and a prescription. We work with our clients to say, here's the information, and this is what you can do with it.
How scientific is it really?
You know, there is actually a lot of scientific research. It's not necessarily your double-blind placebo study that scientists can be so fond of these days, but there is a lot of empirical research. If you look back at some of the historical data, for instance, of the influenza epidemic that struck during World War I in this country, the homeopaths were much more successful in curing their clients, their patients, versus the conventional doctors.
Really?
Yes.
Well, first, we talked about this on the last show, but I think it's so interesting because, I mean, here you're this gorgeous, perfect figure person. How did you get into this interesting, fascinating field?
It is, and it was such a long road. It really started, how old am I? I'm 36 now. It started about 11 years ago when I had been sick in many different ways. I was getting married. I thought, oh, my poor fiancé, he thinks this is the woman he's going to marry. She's sick all the time. She's grumpy. She has no energy. She never wants to go out because she's afraid to leave the house because she might get sick. Something might happen. So I thought, okay, this is it. And I very slowly started learning about food, about lifestyle, about sleep, about yoga, about movement, how important all these things are. One's perspective on life, how important that is. Until I finally got to the point after having my own children, I thought, this is it. This is what I want to do with my life.
How long did it take for you to make that decision and then the change?
Wow. Well, for me, the time I decided to go back to school, almost immediately, I said to my husband, this is it. I want to start right now. We were living in very, very rural Pennsylvania, a little town called Mansfield, where my husband was a professor at the university there. And there was no way I could go to medical school or to a naturopathic college. So I went to Clayton College for Natural Health, which is an accredited institution. My doctorate of naturopathy is a fully accredited degree. And it was an online program. And at the time I started, I had a 2.5-year-old and a 6-month-old. And ended up having a third child in the process of finishing my degree. And so I actually completed my coursework back in December. But I've been counseling friends and family for years who have come to me and go, I don't know, what do you think about this? Can you tell me about this? You know, why shouldn't I eat there? Or where would be a better place for me to eat?
So we're going to talk about diet.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear your ideas about diet because I cannot believe the obesity in the whole world.
Yes.
But I don't know if it's more in the United States or not, but it's sure a lot around here.
Well, from what I hear from my husband was raised in Germany and his mother is German, and from what I hear, it's becoming an epidemic in Europe as well with the proliferation of fast food restaurants and some of the diet and lifestyle practices that contribute to obesity. It's certainly an epidemic here. You see it in younger and younger children. There are a lot of factors that play into obesity. You are not just what you eat. There are lots of different factors. For instance, if you carry a lot of emotional stress, that can cause us to either overeat or eat for emotion. You know, we just have that piece of chocolate, and then it makes us feel so good, so eat another piece of chocolate. And then the next thing we know, the whole bar of chocolate has been eaten. Or if we're not getting enough sleep, our bodies can't properly digest. If the liver is not rested, it can't process all the things we're taking in, not only through what we eat, but through our environment, the toxins in our environment. So there's all sorts of factors. And certainly, again, each person is so different. You can't say to that person, stop eating those cheeseburgers. You know.
Is it genetic? Some people think it's mainly genetic, and some people don't. How do you feel about it?
The jury in me is still out about that. It certainly runs in families, but how much of that is because everyone's eating the same thing? Everyone's eating that Kentucky Fried Chicken takeout?
Oh, that's my favorite. Don't say
Everyone,
that.
you know, is eating that big bag of, those 3 bags of Orville Redenbacher popcorn that they've popped up in the microwave before they sit down to their favorite movie, that they sit down for 2 hours instead of, you know, going for a hike on a Sunday afternoon or whatever. So that's a really good question, and it's not one that I have a real answer for.
So tell